You found yourself on another edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United, and on today's episode, the Sacramento Kings have slayed the Golden State Warriors finally, and they are advancing to the knockout quarterfinals of the NBA in-season tournament. Also, the Cleveland Cavaliers got a big-time team win over the Atlanta Hawks, and as for the Bulls, at this point, they should all go to the G League as the Boston Celtics smoked Chicago wire to wire. We got a lot to break down and celebration for the Kings. This is Let 'Em Know Kings United. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for the post-game reaction podcast of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, and the Chicago Bulls. This is Let 'Em Know Kings United. Let 'em know, Nation. You know what time it is. Welcome to another edition of Let 'em Know Kings United, your Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, and Chicago Bulls post-game reaction podcast. And I'm your host, Scarlett Weisberg. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. And you can find Let 'em Know Kings United, which is 100% completely free and available on Amazon Music, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Radio Public, Pandora, and wherever else you want to listen to this show. Give the show a follow on those platforms. If you can please turn on your notifications so you know about the next episode. Please rate, spread the word out to your friends, and give Let 'Em Know Kings United a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. It is a great way to support the podcast, and I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in to today's show. The NBA in-season tournament concluded for the Sacramento Kings, Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Chicago Bulls, but one of our three teams is moving on to the knockout stage, and that is the Sacramento Kings, who finally slayed the demon that is the Golden State Warriors after a 124-123 comeback thriller last night at the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California. The Kings won Group C with a 4-0 record, and as a result of that, they are going to be hosting the New Orleans Pelicans on Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on TNT from the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California. You love to see it. I love to see that the Sacramento Kings' next game of the in-season tournament will happen inside the Golden One Center because, in my opinion, in my direct opinion, the Golden One Center has one of the best home court advantages in the NBA, and I love to see that Sacramento is getting recognized with that for another game at home. The Kings needed a win or a loss by 11 points or fewer, but ended up with the victory thanks to a furious comeback fueled by two late turnovers by the Golden State Warriors and, to a little certain extent, Draymond Green with a technical foul. Thanks, Draymond. You're the real MVP of this game. But I need to admit, we did not look ready to play by the first half. Because at the end of the first half, Golden State dogged us. They dogged us like all over the damn floor. Like Golden State was getting whatever the heck they want. At one point, I thought, oh, man, here we go again. Golden State is looking unbeatable. This looks like an easy win for Golden State. They're going to be moving on to the knockout stage. They are going to be moving on, and it's going to send the Sacramento Kings home because, once again, for the 10 millionth time, we don't know how to beat the Golden State Warriors. But in the second half, The second half of this game was a major turning point, and one man was a key difference in that. Yes, I know that De'Aaron Fox played a big role because De'Aaron Fox, he got his points. He struggled to the free throw line, though. Actually, as a team, we did a horrible job of shooting and missing free throws, or making free throws, I should say. We gotta learn how to make our free throws. I know Sacramento is a good team, and I'm not denying that. What I am saying is, though, Sacramento needs to learn how to get extra points from the foul line. I get that you're drawing fouls. I understand that you're being aggressive on that side of the floor. But if you're going to be able to contend like you say you are going to contend, you need to make your free throws. And De'Aaron Fox, in that retrospective, is absolutely horrible, at least for this game. He's not horrible overall, but this game he was absolutely horrible at making free throws. Malik Monk, a big role in the second half comeback. He hit the game winner. He called game off glass on the Golden State Warriors. That was a terrific shot. And oh, by the way, another big point in the game that Golden State had the second half, Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr, in my opinion, handed the Golden State Warriors, along with Draymond Green, Steve Kerr handed the Sacramento Kings this win. Why? Because Moses Moody was balling out. I think he had like 10 points and he was 4 for 4 from the field, 3 for 3 from 3. He took him out. He took him out to make a substitution, and Golden State had one timeout left. He challenged a call, and he costed the Golden State Warriors their last timeout. Now, that was a gift for the Sacramento Kings to a certain extent. Why? Because if Golden State had the timeout, what were they going to do? Golden State was going to advance the ball, and then ultimately they would draw a play for either Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, most likely Steph Curry, to get the game-winning shot. But no, that didn't happen, because the Golden State Warriors' basketball IQ were flat as tires at that moment, and Sacramento, like opportunistic wolves, capitalized on the opportunity that, in my opinion, the Golden State Warriors handed the Sacramento Kings, and they did what they were supposed to do, and they capitalized on that opportunity. But my MVP for the second half of the Sacramento Kings, it's not De'Aaron Fox, it's not Malik Monk, it's not Trey Lyles with a solid defensive performance, it's Sasha Vezenkov. When Sasha got in, the offensive rating for the Sacramento Kings, or offensive rating for Sasha Vezenkov, a team high, 137.5. Defensive rating for Sasha Vezenkov, 87.1. The net rating for Sasha Vezenkov, 50.5. By the way, that's team highs on all three of those categories. Sasha Vezenkov came in the second half and injected some life to the Sacramento Kings. Life to the point that Sacramento was building off Sasha Vezenkov's energy. And because of Sasha Vezenkov, and because of a resilient comeback attempt by the Golden State Sacramento Kings, a comeback effort by Sacramento, I should say, we not only got the biggest win of the season against a team that beat us like 10,000 times. Like 10,000 times the Golden State Warriors beat us. But ultimately, because of the fact that we got this big win, we are moving on to the group stages. And by the way, Malik Monk hit a fadeaway jumper with 7 seconds left. And by the way, he called game. Malik Monk said this, doing that in the in-season tournament, the first one, it was great. It brings a lot of more energy into the building. And De'Aaron Fox said about this win, that was just us being resilient. Just being able to fight back and finish the game off felt good for us. We want to win as many games as possible, and that was a game we were able to squeeze out. And then as far as the Golden State Warriors, for the most part, they did what they needed to do with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, but ultimately the turnovers costed the Golden State Warriors, especially late in the second half. Steph Curry and Andrew Wiggins each scored 29 points for the Golden State Warriors, who have now lost 8 of 10 games. 8 of 10 games. I can't even talk today. Golden State got Green back from a 5-game suspension for putting Rudy Gobert in a chokehold, and he was greeted by loud boos during introductions. Well deserved, by the way. Shout out to the Golden One Center crowd. And whenever he touched the ball, he also got called for a technical foul for arguing for a carry violation in the fourth quarter. The technical rallied up the crowd and sparked a 13-3 Sacramento run that turned a 9-point deficit into the Kings' first lead since the first quarter. Malik Monk said it was momentum that we needed. Mike Brown was telling us all game that something was going to happen. Make the reps make a call. We just stick with the game plan. As far as the loss, Klay Thompson said we have to stick with it, not to get discouraged about a bad night like last night and realize that we're going home with an opportunity to right the ship. I still have cold-hearted belief in this team, and we can do some special things. Honestly, even with Green's return, Golden State wasn't at full strength for long. With Chris Paul leaving in the first quarter with lower leg soreness and Gary Payne II, or aka GP2, leaving in the third quarter with an injured right calf. I just gotta say this. If you are a Golden State Warrior fan, cover your ears. The dynasty for the Golden State Warriors is over. The dynasty of the Warriors is over. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green cannot be this consistent for long. Mostly Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Both of those guys can't be carrying you guys to victory for long. I credit Moses Moody for stepping up for Golden State, but they just got outplayed, especially in the second half. Outplayed by Sacramento, by Sacramento's resilience, Sacramento's ability to turn it up on the defensive end, and more importantly, Sasha Vezenkov is the father of the entire Golden State Warriors team. I said it with all my chest, and I meant what I said. Because as soon as Sasha Vezenkov came in and did what he did, it was a wrap. It was a wrap for Golden State. Golden State didn't even want to play Sacramento anymore, the way Sasha Vezenkov was cooking out there. Great win for Sacramento. Signature win in the Mike Brown era for the Sacramento Kings, most definitely. Most definitely. I wish they would do that in the playoffs last year, but you know what? A win is a win, and I don't care how we beat the Warriors or when we beat the Warriors. Anytime we get a win against Golden State, it feels so damn good. And Sacramento, y'all deserve this win, bud. Y'all deserve this win. 45% for the field for Sacramento, compared to 48% for the field for Golden State Warriors. As far as three-point percentage, Golden State had the edge of that. 41% from three-point line, 34% for Sacramento. The free throw percentage, 86% for Golden State, 64% for Sacramento. Again, I think the Kings as a team need to do some free throw line practice. Like after every game, I want to see every single Sacramento Kings team, every single member of the Sacramento Kings stay for a little while after practice and get some free throw shots up, because I'm not going to tolerate another game with a 64% foul line rating. I can tolerate it because it's a win, but in order for Sacramento to get better, they need to knock down their free throws. The rebounds, 52-46 in favor of Golden State. The assists were dead even at 25. The steals were 8-6 in favor of Sacramento. The blocks were 7-6 in favor of Sacramento. The turnovers, 20 turnovers for Golden State, giving up 26 points compared to 10 total turnovers for Sacramento and only allowing 13. The fast break points were 10-9. The points in the paint, 50-38. All credit for the Sacramento Kings on that perspective. But if you're Golden State, you can't turn the ball over 20 times against a talented team like Sacramento is and expect to win. That can't happen. Steph Curry, he was doing Steph Curry things, 29 points with 10 rebounds, 6 assists. He was 4 for 12 from 3. Klay Thompson finished with 20 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Draymond Green, his first game back, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 technical foul, and 2 blocks. Andrew Wiggins, he was the leading scorer for the Golden State Warriors. He actually played better than Klay Thompson, to be honest. 29 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. Off the bench, Saric did really well with 10 points and a couple of rebounds. Moses Moody balled out with 11 points off the bench, 3 for 3 from the three-point line. But Sasha Vezenkov is the true MVP for the Sacramento Kings in this game. A plus-minus, a plus 17, 8 points off the bench with 4 rebounds and an assist. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's how you spark a team coming off the bench. I know Malik Monk does a really great job off the bench with 21 points, a plus minus, a plus 12. He finished with 3 rebounds and assists for this game. Trey Lyles had some really good minutes off the bench with 11 points. He had 6 rebounds and a plus minus, a plus 4. And as far as the starting lineup, I don't understand Chris Duarte in the starting lineup with 5 points. I think Chris Duarte did a whole lot of nothing in this game. They were without Keegan Murray. The Kings were holding Keegan Murray out as a precaution. I hope Keegan Murray comes back at least for the quarterfinals against the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't know if he is going to be back tonight because the Kings are playing the LA Clippers tonight, but I'm expecting Keegan Murray to be back for the quarterfinal game Monday against the New Orleans Pelicans. Kevin Huerter, 21 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 for 7 from three-point range. That was the Kevin Huerter that I needed to see in the NBA playoffs not too long ago. De'Aaron Fox was doing De'Aaron Fox things. 29 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, but 9 of 17 for the free throw line. Come on, my guy, you got to do better. HB did really good with 12 points, but Domantas Sabonis, only 9 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists for this game. I think the matchup of the Golden State Warriors is hurting Domantas Sabonis. I don't understand why Sabonis cannot do whatever kind of stats, whatever he wants against the Golden State Warriors. I don't know if he's scared against Golden State. I'm not saying that. I don't know if Golden State is tough for him. I don't know. But when it comes to Domantas Sabonis, I think Golden State is a bad matchup for him. But nevertheless, it was a big statement, signature win for Mike Brown and the Sacramento Kings over the Golden State Warriors. They are 4-0 in the NBA in-season tournament. They are moving on to the quarterfinals, which will take place Monday against the New Orleans Pelicans, but you don't got time to celebrate because you got a game tonight against Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and the LA Clippers. And by the way, you are at home. It's the second game of a back-to-back, and we've seen this before. Can Sacramento get over the back-to-back hurdle and get a win over the LA Clippers? Now that they are back at home, I think that will help. Coming up next, we're going to talk about a team win by the Cleveland Cavaliers over the second-best offense in the NBA in the Atlanta Hawks. There's a lot of positivity to talk about Cleveland, and I will do that when we come back on Let 'Em Know Kings United. Welcome back to Let 'Em Know Kings United, and there is some good news and bad news for the Cleveland Cavaliers. The good news is they played a complete game against the number 2 offense in the NBA in the Atlanta Hawks in beating Atlanta by a final score of 128-105. The bad news is, unfortunately, the Cleveland Cavaliers did not grab the wild card in the NBA in-season tournament like I hope they would get, because the New York Knicks did more because of a point differential difference. Now, let me vent a little bit of grievance here. I think point differential shouldn't be the deciding factor in the NBA in-season tournament. I get that that's what they're trying to do, but if I was running the NBA in-season tournament, you know what I would do? Quarters 1. I want to see how many quarters the New York Knicks in the entire group play won. I can guarantee you the Cleveland Cavaliers won more quarters than the New York Knicks did. And to argue that same token, I think the Orlando Magic also deserved a spot to at least win their group, which Boston did. And I'm going to get to Boston in just a second because I got a lot to say for the team that played the Boston Celtics, which I'm not going to mention in this segment. But one way or another, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers deserved at least an opportunity for a wild card. But the New York Knicks were edged against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who eliminated the Cleveland Cavaliers in the playoffs last season. They were edged out by the Knicks by a 115-91 win over the Charlotte Hornets, and the New York Knicks get the wild card spot while the Cleveland Cavaliers are eliminated from the in-season tournament. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair, I tell you. But you know what? I'm not even going to trip. I'm not even going to trip about it because the Milwaukee Bucks are going to kick the New York Knicks' ass come Tuesday in their quarterfinal round, and the Milwaukee Bucks are going to go to Vegas. But one way or another, the Cleveland Cavaliers finished 3-1 and in second place in East Group A. They had to win to have any chance of capturing a wild card entry and getting in an 8-team knockout round, but needed 4 other teams to lose and ultimately fall short by advancing by point differential. They needed the Charlotte Hornets to win against the New York Knicks. They needed the Miami Heat to lose against the Milwaukee Bucks, which they ultimately did, and they needed the Chicago Bulls to beat the Boston Celtics, which honestly the Chicago Bulls had no clue what the situation is, but I'm going to get to that in the last segment. Donovan Mitchell said about the in-season tournament, you want to win a championship and make the extra bread, but you look at the little things we did over the last couple of days, and that's what we want to continue to build on. We didn't get this championship, so let's go focus on the next one. Although the Cleveland Cavaliers did not make the wild card berth and the tournament title fell short, the good thing is the Cleveland Cavaliers are getting healthy and they are clicking at the right time right now. And Donovan Mitchell had his best performance in weeks and did it in a meaningful game by regular season standards. Also, Darius Garland added 18 points and the Cavs contained the high-scoring Hawks, who scored 152 in a loss last week against the number 1 offense in the NBA in the Indiana Pacers. I still think that game was absolutely nuts. If I was covering the Indiana Pacers and the Atlanta Hawks for this podcast, and I would be talking about this game, I don't know how in the living hell I was going to do it. But Donovan Mitchell also said the biggest thing was defensively setting a tone against a team that can get going, especially these last few games. They put up 140, 150, whatever. And you know what? It was absolutely amazing to see the Cleveland Cavaliers defense step up, and they limited the number 2 offense in the NBA in Atlanta to 105 points. I don't care that the Cleveland Cavaliers are not going to be advancing in the in-season tournament, okay? All I care about is this W that the Cleveland Cavaliers got. And you know what? By a regular season standard, it felt like a playoff atmosphere inside Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. And you know what? That's a win. That's a win. But here's the thing that got a little awkward for me. With his team down by 20, Atlanta head coach Quinn Snyder pulled his starters with 3 minutes and 54 seconds left. JB, however, stuck with his first team the rest of the way, hoping Cleveland could open an either bigger lead or a bigger hole to advance and potentially go to the wild card. Donovan Mitchell admitted the final few moments were a tad bit awkward. He said, I feel like we were all trying to score, but also respect the game. So it's different, especially when they took their starters out. You're trying to balance it, but at the end of the day, you're playing to win. You're playing to get to Vegas, get to a tournament, but it's definitely a little weird. But you know what, Donovan Mitchell, it is weird. It is weird because the NBA in-season tournament, although it was successful, it is successful to a certain extent. But it's a little weird seeing how the Cleveland Cavaliers starters remained in the game while Atlanta was playing their bench. But you know what? I get it. The Cavs wanted to create a bigger point differential than the New York Knicks for even the Cavs to advance to the wild card, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. But you know what happened? The Cavaliers got a W. They are 2 games over 500, and they have a lot of momentum going into Thursday against the Portland Trail Blazers team who has the worst offense in the NBA. I do not care about the Pistons. I don't care about the Wizards. I certainly don't care about the Chicago Bulls, which I'm going to go off on, but Portland should be a winnable game for Cleveland. Let's see if they can step up to that point. But they were outstanding against the Atlanta Hawks. 53% for the field for Cleveland, 35% for Atlanta, 36% from three-point range for Cleveland, 29% for three-point range for Atlanta. The free throw percentage, Atlanta was slightly better from the free throw line as far as percentage goes, 91-88, but you know what? It's pretty even from my perspective. The rebounds, 55-44 in favor of Cleveland. The points in the paint were 64-32 in favor of Cleveland. The Cavs dominated in the paint area, but you know what? That's their game. That's their game, and that's their identity, right? They want to be tough and physical on defense, and they want to control the paint, and I believe J.B. Bickerstaff said that the Cavs did a great job of executing the game plan and competing at a high level. He was so proud of the team's victory tonight that everybody got the player of the game chain. It was a team win for the Cleveland Cavaliers for all 48 minutes. And you know what? I agree with J.B. Bickerstaff. The whole team deserved that chain tonight. And it was just a great win. A great win overall for Cleveland. They didn't get the wild card berth, but they got the win, and that's all that matters. As far as Atlanta, DeAndre Hunter and Bogdan Bogdanovic led the team in scoring. For DeAndre Hunter, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 for 12 of the field, 1 for 6 from 3. He's a good three-point shooter the last few weeks, but Cleveland was giving that shot to him. And I don't mind giving a three-point shot to DeAndre Hunter when he was shooting 1 for 6 from the field. Trae Young and Dejounte Murray, I felt like the Cavaliers did an outstanding job of containing them. 13 points for Trae Young with 10 assists. 13 points for Dejounte Murray with 3 rebounds and 2 steals. A plus-minus, a minus 27 for Trae, a minus 21 for Dejounte Murray. Bogdanovic off the bench had 18 points. He was 4 for 10 from 3, 6 rebounds, assists, and a couple of steals. As far as the Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell had his best game of the year. 40 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, a plus-minus, a plus 29. He shot 14 of 25 from the field. Max Strus, 11 points, 3 of 7 from 3, with 7 assists and 3 rebounds. DG chipped in 19 points. He also had 8 assists, 2 rebounds, and 2 steals. Evan freaking Mobley, 17 points, 19 rebounds. He could have had 20 rebounds against Atlanta if he had to. But he also had 7 blocks. So a really good game for him offensively. But I think defensively, that was his best game of the year, in my opinion. Jared Allen, 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists. Off the bench, George Niang, 12 points with 7 rebounds. Karis LeVert had 10 points and 3 rebounds. And Isaac Okoro, 6 points with 2 rebounds. Overall, it was a great team win for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I know we wanted the wild card in the in-season tournament, right? It's going to go to the New York Knicks, unfortunately. And in my opinion, I would have rather see Donovan Mitchell versus Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard. But Jalen Brunson versus Damian Lillard, my God, that is going to be an awesome matchup for the Knicks and the Bucks. But overall, I can't focus on that. I got to focus on the Cavs. And you know what? That was a great win. That was a good team win against a high-powered offense like Atlanta a high-powered offense like Atlanta, and for that win to happen, it was going to take a total team effort, and I think the Cavs played a complete team effort tonight, and that's why Cleveland deserved not only the chain as a team, but a win as a team. Great job all around by Cleveland. Coming up next, the Boston Celtics beat the Chicago Bulls so bad that I think the entire Chicago Bulls franchise needs to be demoted to the G League. I got a short but sweet, passionate rant that I got to get off my chest about the Bulls, but I'm going to wait till after this break to do that. This is Let 'Em Know Kings United. Final segment here on Let 'Em Know Kings United. I'm going to keep this short. I'm going to keep this sweet to the point because the performance that I saw with the Chicago Bulls was absolutely disgraceful that I have a lot to get off my chest, okay? First and foremost, the Boston Celtics kicked the Chicago Bulls' ass in every single aspect of this game, 124-97, as the Celtics won a 3-team tiebreaker with the Brooklyn Nets and the Orlando Magic via point differential to take Group C and earn the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. They're going to travel to Indiana to take on the number 2 seed, the Indiana Pacers, on Monday on 7:30 live on TNT. By the way, the seeds for the in-season tournament, I'm going a little bit off script here, but the seeds for the in-season tournament are as follows. For the East, the number 1 seed, the Milwaukee Bucks; the number 2 seed, the Indiana Pacers; for the Indiana Pacers, the 3 seed that I just mentioned, the Boston Celtics; and the 4 seed, the wild card spot, goes to the New York Knicks. As far as the West, the LA Lakers will be the number 1 seed, because they are undefeated at 4-0. The Kings are also 4-0 in the West, but they are the number 2 seed in the in-season tournament. The New Orleans Pelicans, the number 3 seed in the tournament, they won Group B, all thanks to a huge part of the Dallas Mavericks. And the wild card team in the West, the number 4 seed, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and the Phoenix Suns. By the way, on Tuesday on TNT, the matchups are the New York Knicks taking on the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Phoenix Suns against the LA Lakers. Those are going to be really, really fun matchups to watch. And maybe I might return doing the sports roundup covering that, but I don't know. I haven't done the sports roundup in a minute, but whatever the case may be, I am here to talk about the embarrassment that is the Chicago Bulls, which, by the way, I'm going to get into, but Jaylen Brown, who scored 30 points, said it was weird. It was a little unusual for the NBA in-season tournament given these circumstances. He said, to be honest, it was a little weird, but the ultimate goal was to come out and get a win tonight, and that's what we did. It's tough because that's just how the game is supposed to be played. One, you got to respect your opponents. The Celtics made a season-high 21 three-pointers, getting 4 each from Al Horford and Jrue Holiday. All 5 Boston starters scored in double figures. Derek White also said anytime you add Jrue back to the lineup, it's going to help your defense. He does so many things out there that impact winning. It's nice to see him back. The Celtics extended the Bulls' losing streak to 5 straight. They out-rebounded the Bulls 51-38 and shot 52% from the field. And although the Celtics came in with the best record in the NBA, Boston needed a win and a huge scoring night to have a chance at reaching the tournament quarterfinals. And boy, oh boy, they did that in bunches against the Chicago Bulls, which rightfully so, in my opinion, at the end of the day, Boston, they did what they were supposed to do. Although they were playing a mediocre and pathetic Chicago Bulls team, which I'm going to rant on in just a second, the Boston Celtics did what they were supposed to do, but head coach of the Boston Celtics, Joe Mazzulla, said he was especially pleased with how his team continued to press in the second half. Call it what you want, but at the end of the day, there's times human nature comes in and you get bored. You start to deteriorate from your habits and you take your execution of your shots for granted. Tonight, we didn't do that. For that stretch tonight, we just kept playing, and that is a win for us. Mazzulla also said that he wasn't comfortable about running up the score and said as much to Billy Donovan during a discussion between coaches during a stoppage of play. Donovan said he was particularly upset with the Celtics' decision to repeatedly foul Andre Drummond in the fourth quarter and send him to the foul line, where he made 1 of 6 free throws. But Billy Donovan also said, I also understand the situation he's in too. He's got to coach the team and do what is right. But I think it was putting Andre in a tough spot, down 30 points. But this is from the league. This is what the league has done, making this a point differential thing. Let me tell you something about the Chicago Bulls that I haven't been said. This team right now needs to go to the G League. Every single freaking person that is wearing a Chicago Bulls uniform needs to go to the G League and play for the Windy City Bulls, because that performance against the Boston Celtics was absolutely pathetic and it was absolutely gutless. Yes, I expected the Chicago Bulls to lose. Yes, I knew that the Boston Celtics were the better team coming in, but I did not know that they were going to lose by this much. This bad, gutless, heartless performance. And you know what? The Chicago Bulls, at some points in this game, they didn't want to play. They didn't want to play. And that's simple. It's just that simple. The Chicago Bulls did not want to play. They did not. They were not playing defense. They were not getting over ball screens. They were getting beaten up by screens. They were not getting over. They were not helping each other. Stacey King at one point said, if y'all don't want to play defense, you might as well sit next to the coach. You know what? The entire Chicago Bulls team needs to go sit next to Billy Donovan and chew gum for all I care. Because 3 players tonight, 3 players were the only Chicago Bulls that showed up. Thank you, Patrick Williams. Thank you, Kobe White. And thank you, DeMar DeRozan. All 3 of them led Chicago with in scoring. DeMar DeRozan and Kobe White led the Bulls with 19 points apiece. Patrick Williams, who's starting to emerge, added 14 points and 7 rebounds for the Bulls, who could not stop the Celtics outside shooting. Let me tell you something. The front office just doesn't give a damn about the Bulls. They don't give a damn about the team. They don't give a damn about the players. So why shouldn't the fans? The fans should not give a damn about the Chicago Bulls if the Bulls are not going to show up. Let me say something else. Stacey King said something on the broadcast last night, which I completely agree with. Every time you put a Chicago Bulls jersey on, you are not only playing for yourselves, you're not only playing for the city of Chicago, but you are playing for Bulls Nation worldwide, which I am a proud member of Bulls Nation, despite the fact that I have to watch a team play like garbage. Ray Lewis, who is one of the greatest motivators in this generation, said, wins and losses come a dime a dozen. You're going to win some games and you're going to lose some games. I understand it. It's part of sports. But he said something that I thought it would be interesting for this podcast. He said, nobody can judge effort. That's between you and you only. And for the exception of DeMar DeRozan, Kobe White, and Patrick Williams, I did not see any effort from the Chicago Bulls as a team whatsoever. Julian Phillips and Terry Taylor did really great off the bench, but I gotta go off on two other players, okay? Nikola Vucevic, 25 minutes, 9 points. Andre Drummond was outworking you and getting less minutes. As far as I'm concerned, Andre Drummond should be in the starting lineup and not Nikola Vucevic. And Zach LaVine, what else do you want me to say? What else do you want me to say about Zach LaVine? This guy does not represent Chicago. This guy has no heart. This guy has no passion. This guy just doesn't care about the Bulls. He doesn't care about us Bulls fans. And he certainly doesn't care for the city of Chicago. Only 2 points? Only 2 points for Zach LaVine? He left the game with an injury, but 2 points? That's inexcusable. That is absolutely inexcusable. If I was Billy Donovan, the new starting lineup of the Chicago Bulls should be this. Patrick Williams, Andre Drummond, Kobe White, DeMar DeRozan, and I guess you could put Nikola Vucevic in there, but honestly, if I was the Bulls front office, who is scared as hell to get away from DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic, who are scared to go away from Billy Donovan, I would train Nikola Vucevic and get a more talented center and a floor general, because right now the Chicago Bulls have no leadership on and off the court. It's almost like this front office is leaving the Chicago Bulls in an island and they are forcing the Bulls to figure it out for themselves. I'll tell you this right now, they are not going to beat Milwaukee. I'm calling it right now. The Milwaukee Bucks would run the score all over the Chicago Bulls, because I know Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo are going to go absolutely off. Am I hoping the Bulls turn around? Yes. Am I hoping the Bulls still have a chance? Yes. But my God, the way we've been playing the last few stretch of games, the whole team might as well go to the G League. There is no pride, there is no effort, there is no heart, there's no passion, there's no leadership, there's no accountability, there's none of that. There is none of that. And I don't care if they say the right things to the media after the game. They got to show it by the way they play on the court. And right now, the Chicago Bulls are doing a lot of talking and not a showing by action. All credit to Boston. They were the better team. They were expected to win this game, and they did ultimately take care of business. But if I was the Chicago Bulls, I don't know what to say anymore unless some things have already been said. You are pathetic, you are disgusting, and you are a disgrace. You're a disgrace to watch at this point. I would rather watch the Orlando Magic, who are the number one defense in the NBA, over the Chicago Bulls. I would rather watch the Indiana Pacers, the number one offense in the NBA, than the Chicago Bulls. I would rather watch LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the LA Lakers more than the Chicago Bulls. And hell, you know what? I'm going to piss Chicago off either. I would rather watch Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Milwaukee Bucks than the Chicago Bulls. Because let me tell you right now, those four teams that I just mentioned would play better basketball than the Chicago Bulls altogether. You are a disgrace. With the exception of DeRozan, White, and Patrick Williams, like I said, everybody else should go to the G League. This whole Chicago Bulls franchise needs to be demoted. Pathetic. Disgraceful. 52% for the field for Boston, 43% for Chicago from the field. 3-point percentage, Boston 42, Chicago 31. Boston dominated every single stat, so what's the point of going over the stats? Kobe White, Patrick Williams, and DeMar DeRozan were the only Bulls that did well. 19 points, 3 assists for Kobe White, 19 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds for DeMar DeRozan, 14 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 assists for Patrick Williams. He was 6 for 10 from the field in 28 minutes. Nikola Vucevic, 8 points, 8 rebounds in 25 minutes. Pathetic. Zach LaVine, 2 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds in 25 minutes. Pathetic. Andre Drummond in 13 minutes, 5 points, 6 rebounds. We need to get him more. We need to get him playing more. Ayo Dosunmu, 10 points, 2 assists and a steal in 24 minutes. Alex Caruso, his first game from an ankle injury, 8 points with 3 steals in 19 minutes. Javon Carter tried his best with 8 points in 17 minutes with 2 assists, but ultimately the Boston Celtics outplayed the Chicago Bulls, and the rest of the league is not scared of Chicago. They are not scared of playing the Chicago Bulls because you know what the Chicago Bulls are? They are a get-right team to every team in the NBA. So unless something changes, because I know this front office is scared as hell to do it, I know Billy Donovan is going to stay for however long because of this secret extension that I've been hearing about. Unless something changes, this is going to continue to happen. Find your passion, find your pride, find your heart, and understand that you're not playing for the city of Chicago. You are not playing not only for yourselves. You're playing for the city of Chicago. You are playing for all of Bulls Nation, and you are playing for a brand that is a well-organized brand in the entire world. The Chicago Bulls are the greatest brand in all of basketball. And this team right now is being a disgrace to that brand. All credit to Boston, though. They did what they were supposed to do. That's going to do it for today's edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United. You can find this show on Amazon Music, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, Pandora, Spotify, and wherever else you want to listen to this show. Give the show a follow on those platforms. Turn on your notifications so you know about the next episode. Please rate, spread the word out to your friends. Give the show a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. I thank you all for tuning in. I'm your host, Skylar Weisberg, and I will see you right back here for another episode of Let 'Em Know Kings United.